Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for joining today's Resideo webinar session, where we are going to be talking about stocking your truck for the fall heating season. My name is Jamie Quanroot, and I'm part of the Resideo Academy team. And on behalf of all of us, I'd like to welcome you to our training session today. You can find information on our webinar sessions posted on our website at resideo.com/webinars. We do have the schedule for September and October posted to that website, and you can find those upcoming webinars by searching underneath the discipline tab by either the HVAC or plumbing label on the left-hand side of that search bar. You may also now notice that we are offering webinars on these topics each week. So be sure to register and attend and plan to join us every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can also find recorded versions of these trainings on this same website by selecting on demand on the right-hand side of these filters as well. For our contractors who may be joining us for today's live session and you are interested in earning one NATE continuing education credit, there are a few things to note. If you provided your NATE ID on your registration form, we submit those details to NATE for your attendance of today's live session, and we won't need any additional information from you at this time. If you did not provide us with your NATE ID on that registration form for today's webinar, and you'd like to receive credit for attending our live session, then we ask that you email your first name, your last name, your NATE ID, and the date of the session you attended to homes.university@resideo.com within 1 week from today. This information is submitted to NATE 1 week following the close of each live session. Any requests that are sent outside of 1 week from our live training sessions cannot be processed. And as a reminder, we can only process requests for NATE credits when you attend the live webinar sessions, and we are unable to process requests for watching a recorded version of any of our sessions. If you'd like more information about the NATE program, please visit their website at www.natex.org. And then one quick note before we begin our technical overview today, all of our attendees are muted. However, if at any point during our technical presentation you'd like to ask a question, please use that Q&A feature that is found in your Zoom webinar controls. We are reserving the last few minutes of our time together today to answer any questions that you might have. So as we progress through our technical overview today, make sure that you ask any questions in that Q&A feature so we can address it at the end of today's session. Now we're going to turn over the presentation to Vinny Ventura, who's part of our Venco sales team on the East Coast. He's going to be sharing his knowledge with all of us today. So Vinny, we're going to turn things over to you.
Thank you, Jamie, and welcome everybody. I'm glad to spend some time with you this afternoon on the cusp of a great fall season. There's a lot to cover today, so I'm just going to jump right in. And our topic today is regarding the full range of products that Resideo has for replacement part needs, and also products that can actually generate extra revenue or upselling by replacing an existing product with one that's better suited or just improves the overall installation application. A lot of these products are in our water and residential thermal solutions or combustions categories. The idea is to have what you need on your truck so that you don't have to waste time, stop the job, go hunt for the product, and then come back and do it. If you can do it while you're there, it's a big win for everyone. So the goal here is how to correctly stock both water and combustion products on the trucks, and also in your warehouses, in your buildings, as backup as well. And this is not just a heating season thing. This is an all year round type of situation. So why carry universal products? Well, that says it right there. Time is money, and you have the right part on the job at the time that you need to do the installation or the repair job. then you're going to make more money. So having universal products will reduce not only how much time is spent on the job, but because of the fact that they're designed to fit a large variety of different products, you're going to increase your profitability. And also having a few universal components in your either in your building and your trucks replaces what could be a warehouse full of products if you needed to have something to cover any situation that may arise in your territories. So let's talk about what this actually means as far as revenue. Now, I have to say one thing. I'm in the Northeast of the United States, and depending on where you are, the numbers that I'm showing you may differ. They may be a little higher, they may be a little lower. So these numbers are just for to give an example of what you could see. So let's just say that an additional service call a day would generate an extra $300. Well, you do that weekly, that's $1,500. Monthly is $6,000. So annually, if you were to be able to squeeze in an extra service call a day because you had the correct parts on your truck, you're talking an annual revenue of $72,000. Again, these numbers are just just to show you what is possible. Numbers may vary depending on where you are, but the numbers are real, and having the correct parts on your truck can make your business much more profitable. So we're going to jump right into the universal parts, and I'm going to start with the one that established the category, the S8610U control box. This has been around for quite a while. It's seen some upgrades over the years. It is a tried and true part. It is really the definition of universal. Replaces over 400 Honeywell Home, Honeywell, and competitive models. So it replaces a tremendous amount of OEM and competitive models out there. Extremely flexible in application, works in both single and dual rod applications. It can be natural or LP gas. It's very high quality control for this device. It's very robustly built. It can take a lot of abuse before it would fail. So it's a device that has a tremendous amount of universal application. A lot of the features on this device were driven by talking to contractors. VOC stands for voice of the customer, and we spoke to a lot of contractors out in the field, and they told us, hey, this would be great if we had these features and so on. So a lot of the things that came out of this, including what you see here, direct flame current readout using standard microamp meters. There's two little ports on there. You stick your meter there, and you get your current readout right on the board. Okay, simplified troubleshooting. As a matter of fact, the LED flash codes are right on the label, so that you can see what's going on. If it's in some kind of error mode, you can take a look at your flash codes, and it tells you exactly where to focus your energy on how to solve the problem. Again, one part on the truck covers over 425 different models. So inside the box, it shows you there's some literature that shows you a lot of the models it replaces. And also on the outside of the box, if you take a look at it, it gives you just a quick snapshot of all the different models, whether they be Resideo or competitive, that can be replaced by just the one S8610U control. Another universal component that's absolutely necessary in every truck is the VR8345M gas valve. Having this one gas valve on the truck allows you tremendous amount of flexibility, because no matter whether it's a 3/4 or a 1/2 inch application, that valve will fit it. It's very compact size. It has the ability to be mounted in multiple positions. It includes adapter kit, and it's designed for practically every gas boiler, furnace, water heater, pool heater, and it's designed to work with intermittent pilot or direct ignition applications. This is a standard opening valve. That's what the M stands for. So VR8345M means, the M means it's a standard opening, so it's open closed. But we also have a slow opening model and a 2-stage model as well. The slow opening will have a K in the middle. and the two-stage a Q, and they're not interchangeable, but the most common one would be the M. Then we have our YPAC, our Y8610U upgrade kit. So this is a fantastic way to upgrade a standing pilot system into a electronic ignition system, which is not only safer, but in the long run will save some on natural gas. In the box, you have an S8610U. You have a 3/4 by 3/4 gas valve with reducing bushings, and you have all the components needed to replace any standing pilot system on a furnace or a boiler with an electronic ignition system, all in one box. And it also has the LP kit as well inside the box. Then we have the S8910U, the gray box there versus that black one being the S8610U. And this is a direct ignition system for some furnaces and boilers and other appliances. So this one control replaces over 900 controls, including every single Johnson control out there. Johnson stopped making them a while ago, but with this one control, if you do have one that has failed, you have this on your truck, you can replace practically almost every single direct ignition system control out there. So with one again on the truck, that's all you need. Other controls for universal application are these that you see on the screen here, and it says all season universal controls, because these are essentially controls for forced air systems, which can be heating and or air conditioning, or for the one all the way on the right, the universal heat pump defrost control for heat pump systems as well. It's important to keep in mind that a universal part will not void a warranty. And in some cases, the universal part, the universal control, like for example, the S9200U control that you see on your left, in some cases, it's actually more cost effective to put the universal part than the OEM. So let's talk about the furnace control. S9200U replaces 140 different boards from manufacturers, including Carrier and Train and a few others as well. So it provides all the functions for heating and cooling, and it includes control of a combustion fan and a circulator fan if needed. Manages everything. They call for heat, the ignition process, the operation of indoor air quality equipment. It has a humidifier terminal built right on. It also monitors for safety, make sure that the system is working correctly and not out of sync. And it also does manages the shutdown so that everything is supposed to flow the way it's designed to do. And it does the same thing in cooling, energizes the contactor, turns on the fan, and then shuts down the system after the call is satisfied. It's one little control, furnace control, that does all that. As far as fan timers, this universal fan timer pretty much covers all of them that are out there today. It integrates your combustion blower and your circulating fan operation so that it all works together. It's usually on gas warm air appliances or furnaces. It is often paired with our Resideo Smart Valve or an S8910U with a standard direct spark valve. It replaces all the existing fan timers, all the 9120s, the 9101s, and so on. The 9120s seem to be the more popular ones, but some of the older ones as well. There's approximately 40 or so fan timers that it can replace by just having the one on the truck. Then we have our heat pump defrost board. Nice thing about this defrost board is its physical size. It's tiny. It fits in very small areas. It can be used in both timed and demand defrost mode, depending on what your system requires or what you want to do. It's designed for single stage heat pumps. It has a dual LED, that's simple configuration. It also gives you your diagnostics right on screen, and it's extremely quiet to operate. So it's the nice thing is it's multiple ways to mount it, and its physical size is small, so it can fit practically anywhere. We're going to switch it up a little bit and talk about the hydronic side. And we're going to start it off with the Resideo circulators. The first one we see here is our universal 3-speed circulator. It's a very robust European design and built circulator. It's got 3 speeds with the turning the little dial, so you can change your flow and your rates right on the circulator itself. And another nice thing about it is you can see in that center picture there is the universal twist to fit flange. So whether it's whatever direction you need to put it in, you don't have to require, it doesn't require separate circulators depending on how it's supposed to be mounted. This is universal, can be mounted in either direction. So some of the things that make this a superior product is, number one, the stainless steel bearing plate and motor cap. It's designed to resist corrosion. Also, the impeller itself is a very quiet impeller designed for very efficient, quiet operation. And the bearings and the ceramic shaft are both designed to resist corrosion. And because they're ceramic, they're also extremely quiet. So the whole thing here is you have a circulator doesn't have a lot of noise. And all this with a 5-year warranty. And for that matter, just most universal components, not all, but most, have a 5-year warranty. So, and the warranty, Resideo's warranty is very, is, in my opinion, one of the best in the industry. The warranty starts from date of installation. So we encourage you to stock these products in the quantities that you foresee needing, to do your day-to-day service business, because the warranty will not start until you put it on the job. So these circulators, these 3 models, the PC3F 1558 is a $26.99, and then the 4344 on the bottom there, depending on what speed you put the dial to, will cover over 30 competitive models. Over 30. So that's nice. Having 3 on the truck, you're covering 30 plus models. Then we also have our variable speed circulating pumps, the PCVFs models -ECMs. Is one size, and essentially it depending on whether you need a cast iron or a stainless steel application. They are ECM, so they're super quiet, super efficient. They will ramp up and down as needed depending on your flow, and they're designed to be a long-lasting pump. Again, 5-year warranty on these as well. Very easy installation, very accessible wiring compartment, super easy to put in your line voltage wires. Lots of room in there. It's also built very strong, so you don't have to worry about anything falling apart on you. It's a very well built product. And depending on the mode that you put it in, you can see on the bottom our pump curve. It has a tremendous amount of range. So if you look at the little, that's the faceplate of the pump itself. That A is your display showing the actual pump power consumption, and it also it alternates with the gallons per minute. B is your pump setting LEDs, depending on what you've set it on by hitting the mode selected button, which is C. You can. Oh no, you guys mute whoever's speaking. Please mute. And so the mode selection button is for changing the different modes of the pump itself. We're going to change gears one more time. I'm going to talk a little bit more about combustion. We have 2 types of thermocouples. We have the Q340A series and the Q390A. They're both very robust thermocouples. The Q340s are considered our premium long life, and our Q390s are our standard everyday use thermocouple. They come in sizes from 18-inch all the way to 48. Our GLOWFLY hot surface igniter, again, another universal component that replaces over 100 different igniters. This one has a 3-year warranty. The nice thing about this igniter is it gets hotter quicker than most competitive models that are also considered universal. It's a larger flame surface, let's call it, or heat surface. Okay, very strong. So if you hold it in your fingers or you're laid down somewhere, it's not going to break, as unlike the silicone carbide igniters that we've known for all these years, that you look at it the wrong way, it's going to break on you. So this is designed to be very robust, last a long time. It comes with 6 brackets in the box to cover most of the common silicon carbide igniters that you see out there. We also have 4 universal pilot burners that with 4 on the truck, you cover over 100 applications. The Q314U is our standing pilot. And it's a target style burner with an adjustable hood, and it comes with different breakaway fittings and orifices depending on what you're doing. The 345U, the Q345U, is our standard intermittent pilot. Again, target style, 3-position adjustable. The Q348 is a batwing style, so that one does not adjust, that stays in one position. And the 3451 has an integral ignition lead with it as well. So how you change the hood is there's a little set screw, which would be the B on that diagram. You would lift the target hood, and then you would change it either to the right position or the left position and replace the set screw. Also, the packaging comes with a peel and seal like fold out that shows you not only installation instructions, but also a quick cross reference with lots of pictures, and also what comes inside the box. And there's a on the cross reference, it shows you if you're replacing X pilot, use this bracket with this breakaway with this. So it tells you basically what you need to use to do the replacement installation for the OEM pilot. We're moving now to our 7284U, R7284U Universal Electronic Oil Primary. This is for oil systems, obviously. It's designed to be used in any application, whether it be a boiler, a furnace, a water heater. It's designed to replace almost everything out there. There's very few that it does not replace. I'm going to say replaces maybe 95 to 98% of the oil primaries out there. The nice thing about this is that screen and the fact that you don't need an external tool to program it. Unlike some competitive models that require a tool, this one, all the programming is with the use of 3 buttons on the right-hand side. Very simple wiring, and it's loaded with diagnostics. Not only does it have diagnostics, but it also retains an error history so that if you are looking to do you're on a trouble call, you can look at the primary and it actually points you to the direction of where the failure is. So its control replaces Beckett, Carlin, White Rogers, and essentially any other residential oil primary that's out there. It can be used as either interrupted or intermittent. And again, the one control, whether you have a 15, 30, or 45-second lockout, one control does everything. It has a valve on delay if you have a valve. It has a trial for ignition, and it also has the ability to do pump priming, and it has a limited recycle so that someone's not constantly pushing the button and flooding your chamber. We also have a universal AQUASTAT for the oil industry. One AQUASTAT covers almost every single OEM and competitive AQUASTAT out there because it is programmable. So you can program it to be a triple acting AQUASTAT or a cold start. Either way, whether it's like for example, replacing the 8124 series or the 8148 series of AQUASTATs that come OEM on certain boilers, one on the truck does it all. And as far as the mounting, whether you mount it vertically, horizontally, or you can even flush mount it, and you can get extended leads so that you can go, I believe, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it's up to 48 inches you can go as far as the leads if needed. It also has the ability to connect an outdoor reset control so that you can use this AQUASTAT as your outdoor reset enabled control that's going to look at your outdoor temperature to save fuel on your system depending on how cold or how warm it is outside. We have a complete variety of contactors, transformers, and relays. Pretty much will replace any competitive model out there. Very small in size. They meet all required standards, and they're very durable because of the finish that their baked finish that they have. As far as the transformers, they come in multiple mounting applications, options, I should say. There's some universals that have multiple options in one box. There can be multiple voltages or single voltage depending on what you need. And relays as well. We have general purpose heavy duty relays, fully enclosed line and low voltage fan relays, and electric heat relays as well. We also have our universal water heater controls. These water heater controls are designed to be a direct replacement for the OEMs from Rheem, Bradford, and A.O. Smith. So having, depending on what in your area is the common water heaters, having just what you need on your truck, doesn't matter what water heater you come across, having this controller on your truck is going to allow you to quickly replace the control and get the water heater back up and running. So here's a chart, which is also on the back of the literature available for these water heater, these controls, depending on what model you have. And you can go by OEM part number, the Resideo OEM part number, or just knowing what tank you have, you'll be able to correctly replace the water heater controller with whatever is failed in your in the system that you're working on. All right, we're going to change it one more time. I've told you there's a lot of material to cover today. Universal components are extremely important. Mixing valves. Why are they necessary? Well, they're necessary for a multitude of reasons. One very important one is health. In tanks, in hot water tanks, when we maintain a temperature below 120 degrees, the bacteria can grow, and that bacteria can make people sick. So bacteria starts to die off at 140 degrees. Below that, it can survive, and if the water is really low, say less than 115 degrees, it actually grows very, very quickly. By having a mixing valve on the tank, you can crank the temperature of the tank up over 140, which destroys the bacteria, but then the mixing valve will actually mix it down with cold water so that it's safe and you're not scalding anybody in the building that you're doing work in. If you look at this chart, at 100 degrees on the bottom, that's the safest water temperature for bathing. None of our water heaters are set at 100 degrees. They're all set at 120 or more, depending on the length of pipe that the water has to travel. Like I said, at 140 degrees, we kill off the bacteria that's in the tank, but we also run the risk of having a third-degree burn. It only takes 5 seconds for an adult to get a third-degree burn at 140 degrees. It only takes a child 3 seconds. So by having a mixing valve on there, you're not only getting rid of the bacteria, but you're also going to protect against scalding and hurting somebody or someone getting hurt with a burn. The other benefit of having a mixing valve is you're increasing the amount of hot water that the tank can deliver. So here's a snapshot of an algorithm that we have. A water tank size, say, is 30 gallons. If the hot water temperature is 145 degrees and your cold water coming in is 53, and you want to mix it to 120, okay? So when you put those numbers in, it tells you that you're going to use 72% hot water mixed in with 27% of cold water, which is going to give you an equivalent of 41 gallons from your 30-gallon tank. So you're going to get a lot more water from a smaller tank. So a nice universal application mixing valve is the AMX300. This is one of my favorite valves. We have a lot of different valves. This one's really cool. So it's a point of source mixing valve. It goes right on top of the heater. The nice thing about this valve is it's not going to require any extra fittings. When you bring in your pipes to your copper to your tank, you're going to set them up with female adapters. Well, you're going to first put this mixing valve on and then continue the way you were going to do it before. So it doesn't require additional fittings. You don't have to sweat anything in other than what you were going to do if you did not have a mixing valve in here. It's got Teflon coating for extreme durability. It has built-in check valves so you don't backfeed the hot into the cold. It's nickel plated, low lead brass. It is a standard spread for either an 8-inch or an 11-inch water heater, depending on the one that you need. 8-inch being the most common. So some of the cool features of this is that on the right-hand side, you see there's a cold water port that can be a direct connection to your ice maker on your refrigerator or to your humidifier that requires water. There is a recirc port on the side, and then there's a full pre-mixed hot port on the back. That's good for your dishwasher, so you don't have to worry about using your electric element to bring the temperature up. So whatever the temperature is in your tank, that's pre-mixed, so that can be directly fed to your dishwasher. And if you do have recirculation in your house to get instant hot water or close to instant hot water, there's a recirc port that you can bring your recirc pump line right back to the mixing valve. So like I said, we have a lot of different mixing valves, and there's some advantages to all of them. We're going to start with the AM1. Now, the AM1 is a standard mixing valve, which is going to require multiple sweat connections, but the advantage of this mixing valve is it comes in a tremendous amount of different fittings. It comes in sweat, in thread, in union sweat, union thread, comes in PVC, comes in PEX, it comes in ProPress. It comes, and I'm sure I'm forgetting some, but there's so many. It also comes in multiple different temperatures. So the AM1 is the standard, but it does require a few more sweat connections than, say, the AMX, which is in the middle. The AMX is a great mixing valve. It's a residential mixing valve in a commercial. It's a commercial mixing valve in a residential body. Super robust. It's going to last you an awful long time. I have one in my house, and I've had it on the same water heater, and I'm jinxing myself about 14 years. And you guys that install water heaters know why I said I'm jinxing myself when my water heater is 14 years old. Anyway, that requires less sweat connections. And it's, again, a very robust valve. And then the AMX300 is probably the easiest installation, which in my opinion is probably the most profitable. 2 sweat connections, which you were going to use anyway, whether the valve was there or not. So it's a very simple installation. It just sits on top. You dial it in, you lock it down, and you're set. They do come with a temperature strip in the box that you can stick on the pipe, and you can get your reading. I'm old school. I like to put a clamp on a thermometer on there just to check the temperature anyway. We also have our whole house pressure reducing valves, our DIALSET PRV, the DS06. What makes this one nice is, number one, the DIALSET is extremely accurate. So what the number that you see in the window is what you get, as opposed to some competitive models that have a little nut there. And unless you have a gauge, which we do have a gauge port in the center there, if you look in the center, you see the gauge port. Without a gauge on the competitive models, you have no idea what you're setting your pressure at. It's a cartridge system, which means it's replaceable and rebuildable. It has a tremendous range from 25 all the way to 90. It comes in multiple sizes, and I'll go over that in a second. Built-in strainer, it's cleanable. And it's very compact in size, very small footprint, which means it can fit in tight spaces. So here's our sizes. You can get either body only, or you can get it with either a single union or a double union, either an NPT or sweat. It comes from 1/2 inch all the way up to 2 inch. There's an upgrade opportunity on this valve as well. So you can get our FK06 either upgrade kit or the actual FK06 valve, and it has a strainer built into it so they can catch any sediment before it affects anything. Like, for example, say you have a tankless water heater, instant water heater on the wall. Most manufacturers absolutely demand that you have some type of filtration before the water hits the heat exchanger, because the sediment could damage your heat exchanger. You can void your warranty. Well, if you have a DS06 already on the job, or you want to install one fresh, you can put it as an FK06 and capture sediment with a quick flush on the bottom as well. Another cool new part that we have is our hydraulic separators. And these are nice for boiler systems. They do a multitude of things. Number one, they are air elimination. They also have magnetic separation to get rid of any metal particles in your water. There's dirt separation. And also, it removes the need for having closely spaced tees that are not always installed correctly. And when you don't install that correctly, you don't get correct flow to your distribution loops. And they come with an insulated jacket. So let's talk about the actual components of it and the servicing. Number one, the air vent's on the top, which is cleanable or replaceable, either way. The magnet you'll find on the bottom over the blowdown valve. And essentially it's a reverse thread so that you would, when you remove it, you do reverse threading. It slides out. When you slide the magnet out, any metal particles that were stuck to the magnet will fall down, and then you can flush them through the blowdown valve. So how the flow dynamic works? Well, if you have a boiler with the boiler flow and the distribution flow equal, well, it's just going to work the way it's supposed to. With say it's 10 gallons per minute in, you're going to get that 10 gallons per minute in, and then on the return, you also get the 10 gallons per minute. But on other situations where you can have your distribution less than your boiler flow, it'll automatically adjust so that you still get your 10 gallons returning back to the boiler so that you don't starve your heat exchanger, and you still get your proper flow through your, say, zone valves. And on the other side, if you have pumps and you need a higher flow on your distribution versus your boiler, it's automatically going to adjust itself as well so that you get the correct flow and you don't starve your loops. They come in a lot of different sizes. These are the ones that have unions. So the unions come from 1 inch all the way to 2 inch, and you can get the union fittings in either sweat, threaded, or in pro press, and they come in packs of 2, and that's on purpose so that you can mix and match. So you had it 2 threaded and you needed 2 pro press because you redid a part of your installation, and you've moved on to pro press installations. You can just add 2 pro press and you're done. So you can either get 2 sweat, 2 threaded, or 2 pro press, or you can get all 4 the same. We also have, for the larger, lighter commercial applications with larger flows, up to 6 inch in flanged. So we go from 1 inch to 2 inch in union, and then from 2 inch to 6 inch in flanged application. Then we have our water leak and freeze detector. This is an upsell opportunity for you. Okay, so and again, this is whether it's you're installing a boiler, a water heater, even an air conditioning system with a secondary drain pan, anything where you want to make sure you monitor that if water is where water shouldn't be, you need to know about it before you have damage. So this is a nice little device. It's super easy to install. It's a 5-minute installation, if that. Very versatile. Not only does it detect water and send not only a high decibel alarm throughout the house, because you want to know when you have water and it's and this thing goes off, the water is still manageable. Once you discover water on your own without one of these things, well, you may be to a point where now you have damage to contend with. Not only does it detect water, but it's also a freeze alarm. So if your temperature falls below what you predetermined, then it's going to send you an alarm as well. And it also is a humidity alarm. So it detects high and low humidity, high and low temperature, and water all in one neat little package. It comes with a 4-foot lead that the entire 4 foot is a water sensor. So it can be hung up on the wall. And not only does it do that 100 decibel alarm locally, but it immediately wakes up somebody's smartphone that the app is installed on and says, hey, you have water, you need to take care of this right away. So you still have an opportunity to reduce the amount of damage that may occur. This is a great device. Placement is real simple. You can mount it on the wall, put it on the floor. It has sensors on the bottom, or you can use the rope sensor as well. It can be placed in multiple locations. There's no limit to how many you can place. They are sold in a multi-pack. I believe there's 4 in the box, or they sold individually. I'm a big fan of the multi-pack because you have an opportunity to put one under the sink, one by the dishwasher, one by the secondary drain pan of your air conditioner, one by your water heater and boiler, et cetera, et cetera. It's basically use your imagination. If water can be there and it shouldn't be there, you should have one of these there. Great upsell opportunity. Then we have our non-connected thermostats, and here's a quick lineup of some of the more common ones. The E1 is our value thermostat, non-programmable, large numbers, can be battery operated or can be hardwired. The whole key thing here is it's simple and it's very large numbers, easy to see from across the room. One step up from that is our T3 Pro, again, non-programmable. This one has a low temperature setting down to 32 degrees, great for some commercial and garage applications. This one can also have a continuous backlight, and it has range stops so that you can set the limits of your temperatures. Moving up one more step is our T4. And our T4 can be either programmable or non-programmable. It is a single stage conventional or a 2 heat, 1 cool heat pump thermostat. And the programmable aspect can be 5-day, 2-day, 5-day, 1-day, 1-day, or 7-day out of one little box. All right. And if we move to our multi-stage, we do have a T6, which is not on here, but our T6 Pro is our multi-stage version of the T4. And then we have our tried and true Focus Pros. They've been around a long time, but when something ain't broke, you don't have to fix it, right? So that Focus Pro, 5,000, 6,000, everyone loves it. It's a solid thermostat. If you like that one, it's still available. On our connected side, we have our T6 Pro Smart thermostat. Comes in 2 configurations. One's a 2 heat, 2 cool. The other one's a 3 heat, 2 cool that has ventilation and dual fuel capabilities. Moving up is the T10, which is right now my favorite thermostat. The T10 is a Wi-Fi thermostat with RedLink room sensor capabilities. So it has the ability to do wireless sensors, being a Wi-Fi thermostat. It's kind of like a hybrid thermostat. It can also control indoor air quality, such as a humidifier or an ERV or a dehumidifier. And then we have our Vision Pro 8000 RedLink. For that matter, all our RedLink products. Our RedLink products are designed to save you time because if you have the RedLink product on your truck, sight unseen, you could probably do any low voltage thermostat application you can come across. My advice is always have a Vision Pro 8000, the TH8110R, have the interface module, which is the THM5421R, and a gateway. And there's not a job you can't do with those 3 components on your truck. Okay, so having those on your truck, that's the epitome of universal application. So combining everything together straight into your truck, 10 parts, the SA610U box, the 4 pilots, the 1558 pump, 2 of the 3 of the water heater gas valves, depending on what's most common in your area, and then the 340, a 1074, and 1108, which are just different size thermocouples. Having those 10 parts, you have the ability to replace 555 products with an install base in the millions. So these are absolutely essential to have on your truck. And if you have the ability to take a screenshot, I would take a screenshot of this and go right to your distributor and say, this is what I want for all my trucks. And then on the upsell side, an AMX300 is a very easy way to increase the revenue on your water heater sale and also make the installation a safer and a more efficient installation because you're going to get more water out of the same size tank. Or the DSO6 or the FKO6 for a pressure reducing valve application. So if you have a DSO6, you can upgrade it with the filter kit or just replace it with an FKO6. And then, of course, you have the water leak detector, which is always an upsell. You have these on the truck. They're super easy to install, super easy to sell. And again, it's a multiple unit application where you can install 1 in 5 minutes. So if you have 4, you can really increase your profitability, but also give your customer a much better experience in their own home. God forbid something goes wrong, they have the ability to actually do something about it before the damage is too extensive. It makes you look great when you have stuff like that. We have a parts finder website. It's partsfinder.resideo.com. And essentially you can put in your part number that you're looking to replace. And then you'll come up with, if there's a replacement, it'll come up when you hit submit. And you'll be able to see not only replace, but also some quick information on the part itself. It's compatible with iOS, Android, and PCs because it's HTML5. So it's going to, fix itself to whatever screen you're working with. It's what I suggest doing is setting up a a quick link, and I'll show you in a second. So this is what the screen would look like. So you put in, say, an OEM control box, whatever the part number is, and you hit submit, and then it comes up with we have a match, and then you have an overview. You also have specifications and resources, which could be your installation manual, etc., all on one screen. So bookmarking on your mobile device. So if you have an Apple device or an Android device, again, this, if you want to screenshot, this is not a bad idea. You go to your browser, you enter partsfinder.resideo.com, and then on Apple, you follow the steps, click share, add to home screen, select that, and then it's going to be a little icon on your home screen. And with Android, it's a little different. You select the menu icon, add to home screen, select that, and again, it's a quick, it's basically a bookmark that which takes you right to the website. Not a bad idea to put on your smartphones. So not only do we have universal product, we have a full range of HVAC products, whether they be on the hydronic side, on the combustion side, the water side, the potable water, zoning products for forced air and for hydronics, indoor air quality, all aspects of indoor air quality, which is so important nowadays with the pandemic still unfortunately around us. Having good indoor air quality is extremely important, and it's a very easy upsell. And of course, what Honeywell Home Resideo was always known for is our thermostats. Whether we're using the RedLink products, our non-connected, our Wi-Fi products, our thermostats are by far the best in the industry. So I'm going to go over some common questions that we have, and then we're going to open it up to questions. And we're running just perfect on time. How do I know which parts my universal products will replace? Are there any tools I can utilize on my smartphone if I don't have the product in hand? Well, we just spoke about Parts Finder, so that's the second part of the question. Parts Finder is a great tool that will allow you to really hone in on what part replaces what part. So how do I know which parts my universal products will replace? Well, obviously Parts Finder is one way, but also on a lot of the universal boxes and also in the literature, it shows you an extensive list of products. Now, I'm not going to say they are complete, because there's a lot of times we cover more products that are on our literature, but for the most part, the literature is extremely accurate. Regarding the Vision Pro 8000 with RedLink, do I need all the products in that box or pull from it as need be? So we're talking about the box that comes with the thermostat. It comes with an EIM, which is the interface module, equipment interface module. It comes with an ERM, which is the equipment remote module. And that's essentially designed that you can tie multiple pieces of equipment together. No, you don't need to use all the products. They're all standalone products, but that kit is designed to bring together either an air handler and a condenser and a thermostat without any wires, or an air handler, a boiler, and a thermostat, or even an air handler, a boiler, a condenser, and a thermostat, everything without pulling a single wire. Fantastic way of doing things. You can't get more universal than that. How do universal parts apply to equipment under warranty? Well, it does not affect the OEM warranty, so you're okay there. What is a typical warranty for universal products? How does Resideo honor warranties? Well, the typical warranty is about 5 years. There are some exceptions, some products that are 3 years, but for the most part, most universal products, and it'll be stated on the box or in the literature, are a 5-year warranty. And how do we honor the warranty? Well, it's from date of installation. So we encourage you, especially in these times with shipping shortages due to shipping problems and components issues, I strongly advise that you stock up to get you through at least a portion of your season, because at some point, who knows what could happen with quantities. So having extra stock in your stock rooms, in your warehouse, or on your trucks is not a bad idea. It means that you're going to be able to keep working without slowing down and keeping your trucks profitable. How many water leak and freeze detectors can I install in a house? Well, how many do you want to install? You can do as many as you want. You can put one, like I said, by the water heater, under the sink, by the dishwasher, the washing machine, upstairs in the attic, wherever you like to put one where you can get water where water shouldn't be. That's a good spot for a water leak and freeze detector. And they're also, remember, temperature detectors as well, temperature alarms. Excuse me, humidity alarms. Why is there no 3-prong plug in the S8610U? If you noticed in the picture earlier, there's the plug. We used to pack a little 3-prong plug in there, which essentially was a jumper. Now it's internally jumper, not needed. A lot of times they were accidentally thrown away with the packaging anyway. So that's one less step you have to do, which is nice. Do the circulator pumps come with a check valve? Circulator pumps don't come with a check valve. If you want to buy the check valve, you can do that. It's a separate part. There's 2 reasons why we do that. 1, a check valve changes the flow characteristics of the pump. And 2, a lot of, if you're doing a replacement where you're pulling out a pump and you're putting in the Resideo pump in its place, there's already usually a flow check in the system. There's no reason to have a double flow. That in the long run could be an issue. So that's why we don't put a check valve in the box. Also, why pay for something that you're not going to use anyway? So if you want the check valve, it's an additional component that you can purchase, or you can use the system flow check. So Jamie, are there any questions in the Q&A?
You know, Vinny, you did such a good job. There are no questions at this time.
All right, so we're going to leave it open for a few seconds. If anyone has any questions, we'd like to help you out there. There's a on the Resideo.com/pro, you can find information of all these products, including technical information, installation operation manuals, spec data, submittal sheets on a variety of these products. It's all there on that website. It's a great website. And also I want to talk about 2 other things. One, I'm in the Northeast and we're in the process, we're getting ready for our fall and winter season here. And we're in the process of doing a lot of training around our, what we call our RTS source training, residential thermal solution source training. It's a hands-on training with these kits where it's fully technical hands-on, where you actually build gas systems. You build a standing pilot, you build an electronic ignition, you build a direct spark, you build hot surface, and you make them work, and you make fire. Controlled fire. It's a little tiny flame, but it's still kind of cool to see that you put a system together and it's working, and you actually get to see how these systems work. It's a fantastic class. If you go to your local distributor, a bunch of distributors are offering these classes now. And if you're a distributor and you would like to offer it, please contact your local Resideo rep and they can set something up for you so that you can do your source training. It's a fantastic class. It's about a 3.5-4 hour class, but it's hands-on. It's great. That also, the other thing I like to say is Pro Perks. Pro Perks is our rewards program with here at Resideo, and essentially it's kind of like a rebate system where depending on how much you purchase, you can get back 2, 3, or 4% in the form of a certificate that you can then redeem at your local distributor for more Resideo product. There's no charge to join. And the Resideo, Resideo distributor will actually reports the points for you. So all you have to do is keep buying Resideo products, and you're going to get points put into your account, which then you can turn in for more product, which again, that also makes your business more profitable.
Great. Thanks so much, Vinny. Appreciate you walking through all of those common questions and providing another great training today. If any of our attendees do think of a question after the close of our training today, please don't hesitate to reach out to either your local Resideo sales rep, or you can send an email to homes.university@resideo.com and we'll make sure you get your questions answered. And like Vinny said, in talking about the source training is something that we're very passionate about here at Resideo, and we want to make sure that you have access to all of the trainings that we do offer. And we have recently launched our online learning platform where we do have several in-depth technical and sales training online modules for all of you. You can access this online training catalog if you visit our training page on our Resideo Pro website. And the first time that you access that training catalog, you'll be asked to create an account, a Pro Portal account, and going forward, you'll log into your training account to access these trainings. And right now we've got a little over 20 online learning modules available, including our humidification portfolio. We've got several technical and sales courses available on our humidification portfolio. We also have courses on our T10 thermostat that Vinny brought up just a little bit ago, as well as our Prestige IAQ thermostat. These online trainings cover everything from installation details, technical information, and they also talk about how to identify the right customer to sell these products. And we're very excited to be offering this online training catalog as a part of all of our training offerings for you. And to piggyback off on something Vinny just mentioned, if you are a Resideo Pro Perks member, you will receive training credit when you enroll and take these online training courses as well. And then just to wrap up here on our next slide, if you want to find out more information about our upcoming sessions, make sure that you visit resideo.com/webinars, and you can search by the HVAC or the plumbing tabs to find out information on our upcoming sessions. We are offering sessions once each week on Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. And additionally, we do record each of these sessions, and you can find those recordings on this same website by filtering for webinars with the label on demand. And then one last reminder for our contractors who did not include your NATE ID on your registration form and you would like to receive credit for today's session, please send an email with your first name, your last name, and your NATE ID number and the date of the session you attended to homes.university@resideo.com within 1 week of today's live webinar in order to receive credit for attending this live training session. And then 2 final things to note. Once our training session ends today, you will be prompted to complete a survey regarding our webinar session. Please take a few moments to provide us with your feedback on not only today's training that you participated in, but we'd also like to hear your feedback on any future topics that you would like to see us cover. Additionally, you're going to receive an email from us in a few days that includes some follow-up information on the products we reviewed today, as well as a link to the website for information on future webinars as well. Make sure you join us next week on Tuesday, September 28th at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time for our next training session. Thank you all for joining us for today's Resideo webinar session. Have a great day, everyone.